We're staged for another run of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, with Marty Hough and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for stopping by our half hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. JR Todd becomes the 16th different driver to win both Top Fuel and Fuel Funny Car. And Tanner Gray chalks up victory number 3 at Sonoma. We'll talk to both today. We're in the beams and set to launch another edition of The Straight Line. Wherever you may be, coast to coast around the world, this is The Straight Line on Drag Racing at MRN.com, along with 4-time IHRA Top Fuel champion and 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert. I am Marty Hough. Coming off the weekend in Sonoma, headed to Seattle. And as advertised, JR Todd will join us, as well as Tanner Gray. But in the other pro categories, 2 of the hottest drivers, and maybe the hottest drivers going right now, Ellie Tonglet and Steve Torrence, winners again. Man, those guys are really racking up the wins.
They really are. I mean, Steve Torrence, that team has just come around so unbelievable this year, really. I mean, just winning, they're dominating. I mean, it's plain and simple. They're really dominating. Antron Brown in a pretty tough customer in the final round, but they took him down. So great job for Steve Torrence and his team.
Yeah, and this isn't just a recent roll. I mean, they've been at this pretty steady over the last 2 months or so, where they have just had the right combination at the right time.
Well, when you're leading the points, you're not going to be too far behind.
Right.
When you're leading the points, you're doing pretty darn good, and they are. And I mean, those top 8 cars in Top Fuel are really tough. So for them to be as good as they are, oh boy, that's tough.
And Ellie Tonglet right now. Jerry Savoie, when they announced late last year, that Jerry Savoie was going to bring on Ellie Tonglet and the Tonglet family into their fold, you kind of had a suspicion that this was going to be a real wrecking crew, and they have found that out. They win the Pro Bike battle, and they win the race.
Well, yeah, and with Jerry winning the championship last year, I mean, they obviously have the combination down. So now they've got, he's got that extra data from having the second bike. They've got their performance that they have last year. They haven't lost anything on that. No. The one I'm surprised about a little bit is the Harley guys. I mean, Denver, they obviously did very well, but they're struggling a little bit, which is kind of surprising. I mean, for Vance and Hines, we're not used to really seeing those guys struggle. So that's a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and when we talked to Ellie Tonglet, he was explaining the new bike and everything, but it doesn't matter when those guys are qualifying middle of the pack, and they're second round, third round outs or so. It is a little bit strange. They're they'll find it, but it's just strange to see right now.
Yeah, it kind of is. They're struggling a little bit. And then same thing in Top Fuel. Leah Pritchett. It was like a girl show in Top Fuel. We got Leah Pritchett with Louis T, Brittany Force with top speed at over 331 miles an hour, and then the funny cars, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
Man, Robert Height just almost 340 miles an hour.
On Friday
That's pretty
night,
impressive.
Yeah, on Friday night, they were waiting for live TV, and a shot on FS1. So they were kind of wasting time there, and it had got dark, it had got cool, so there was no direct sunlight on the track. The temperature had got down below 70 degrees, probably high 60s or so. The air was just right. And
we talked to Robert Height on the show last week, and Jimmy Prock, his crew chief, he can knock it out of the park, and that was one of those things. He knocked it out of the park. Yeah. So close to 340 mile an hour run from a funny car, unbelievable. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see NHRA think about some changes. I don't know that they want the cars going that fast, to be honest with you.
Well, and something that you bring up when we start talking about speeds and going that fast, not only does NHRA, or they're not really crazy about it, but Goodyear is also not real happy about that as well.
Well, that's more the limiting factor. Goodyear doesn't really, they're these tires, if you think about it, so they've got a 10,000 plus horsepower engine trying to tear the center out of the tire. They're hooked up to the ground. They're twisting. They're shaking. They're going 340 miles an hour with 8,000 or more pounds of downforce on them. Yeah. That's something that Goodyear doesn't know how to test for. They have a really hard time building those tires, and they don't want them to fail. They don't want they don't want guys crashing in cars with Goodyear tires on them. So they're doing everything they can to keep the tires safe. But the faster and faster they go, the harder that job gets.
Yeah, and but when you're going that fast, it makes headlines.
Right.
And
everybody
people,
likes that fast. Well, I'm saying, hey, if the funny cars, they're going to let them keep going faster and faster, they might as well just go ahead and let them run last instead of the top fuel cars, because I don't understand. They need to let top fuel cars run faster. I don't like that idea.
I think next year we're going to see maybe a little tweak in the rules. Not sure where that's going to go 100%, but the talk is right now is maybe to roll them headers back up a little bit. Not significantly, but just enough to maybe slow them down, probably be even. We'll see what happens once we get to Indy, and that's usually when announcements are like that are made. When we return, we will talk to 3-time Pro Stock winner Tanner Gray. Joins us next.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
O'Reilly. Has the summer heat taken a toll on your vehicle's battery? Count on O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. For a limited time, purchase a Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum battery and get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card by mail. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I know the importance of communication. So when it came to selecting equipment for my team, I chose Racing Electronics.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. will win!
Oh, yeah! And so should you. With Racing Electronics, you can listen to all the raw, unfiltered, heat-of-the-moment communication between drivers and their crews.
I love you, man.
Enhancing your experience.
Unbelievable!
And putting you right in the middle of the action. Go to racingelectronics.com to rent a scanner or FanVision, or see Racing Electronics and FanVision trackside at every NASCAR race.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Hough and Doug Herbert.
Appreciate you joining us on The Straight Line today, and on the guest line with us right now is a 3-time Pro Stock winner in 2017 and still on a roll. Right now, the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year in 2017. He is the driver of the Gray Motorsports Valvoline Chevy Camaro. Tanner Gray joins us. Tanner, congratulations on another win. Just describe what this whole weekend has been like for you.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been good.
You think?
It's been the whole last few weeks have been pretty busy. So it feels good to get a win and kind of show where the hard work's paid off and just get to come home and relax for a few days before we get ready to go to Seattle tomorrow. So like I said, it feels really good.
Tanner, tell us about the changes that you have to make to a Pro Stock car, going from Mile High Racing at Denver down to Sonoma. I'm familiar with the field cars, what we have to do, but tell us about Pro Stock cars. And I know there's a lot of changes that have to be done to those cars to make that adjustment to sea level.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. A lot of engine tune-up stuff that you have to change up as far as fuel and stuff like that, and then like the gearing, and gearing ratios and stuff like that. It's quite a bit different. And then as far as the driver's standpoint, shifting is completely different compared to somewhere at sea level rather than going there. My first few runs in Sonoma after coming from there, I was way early out of low gear. So it's kind of tough to adapt, especially when you are trying to get good runs in, and you can't really afford the mistakes. But we ended up all right, and it just took a couple runs to get me back used to it all. And
as a rookie, a lot of these racetracks that we're going to or probably your first time at those particular racetracks. Denver obviously is a huge adjustment. Sonoma, you have to get back to sea level, but now we're headed to Seattle, where the track's got lots of character, shall we say. There's lots of humps and bumps. And so what are you hearing from your guys, from your dad, from Dave Conley, about heading to Seattle and kind of a different racetrack up there?
I haven't really talked to him a whole lot about it. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Everywhere you go, you're going to go straight, and you're going to have it on the floor. So, it's not too bad going from place to place and having it be my first time there, because, like I said, you're just going straight and holding it on the floor. But, Denver was a little bit of a different place just because of the shifting and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's all pretty close to being the same. And the only thing I know about Seattle right now is it's supposed to be insanely hot. So
yes.
I'm not looking forward to that part of it, but I'm excited to get there and try to go back to back.
Tanner, as a driver, don't ever say all you got to do is just hold it on the wood and go, because we need to make it sound more complicated than that. That doesn't make it sound very good. 3 wins of the year. You're racing some pretty stiff competition over there in Pro Stock. Tell us about the year and how it's wound up to being the point that it is. I mean, your whole team has just done an incredible job.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been definitely really competitive this year. This is probably one of the most competitive years I've seen it since I've been around watching. And we're halfway through the season, and there's been 9 different winners. So I think that kind of shows for itself compared to last year. I'm not sure how many winners there were last year, but I know the KV cars pretty much had the most. So it's definitely been a really tough year this year. It's mainly up there on the starting line right now. Pretty much whoever leaves first is going to win the race. And, I got kind of lucky there in the semis because my teammate Drew, he left on me by almost 100th, and we got lucky that he shook tires and didn't get down. But, like I said, it's all up there on the start line right now, and this is as competitive as I've ever seen it right now.
Well, you mentioned the starting line, and I'll just tell you, your lights from this weekend. First round, 18. Second round, 17. As you mentioned, a 36. I mean, a 36 is probably something that you're shooting for. Is not a bad light, but considering that, and you go to the finals and pull a 17 light, it's almost like you were sleeping up there. But you mentioned that it's all, or not all, but it's a lot of it is predicated on you leaving, and you did your job this weekend. So you got to feel good. You give a lot of your credit to your guys, but you got to feel good that the driver's doing his job as well.
Yeah, it feels good. I feel like I had been struggling with consistency the last few races up there on the start line, and for whatever reason it kind of clicked there in Sonoma, and I don't know if you get too much more consistent than that.
Yeah.
But if like I said in the post race interview, if I could have taken that 30 and put another teen in there, then that would have been a outstanding day for me anyway. And I'm just glad Drew shook tires on that run.
Hey Tanner, so your dad, I'm sure, was at the races. Your grandpa, what's your dad and grandfather feeling about your success and how things are going this year for the Pro Stock team?
I think they're really happy, to be honest with you. We really don't talk about it much. We just kind of keep focused and continue to try to win races. But I'd have to assume they're pretty happy about everything. The cars are running good. So far, I've drove okay, and we won a few races this year. And Gray Motorsports as a whole team, including Drew Skillman and them, have won, I think, 6 races.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can get another Gray Motorsports car to win here in Seattle, then we've swept the swing. So I'd have to assume they're pretty excited about everything.
I would think so. How much work do you do with the Skillman team? And obviously, this is not they're a separate team, but they're getting motors from you. So how much data swapping and information swapping are you doing with the Skillman team?
Almost everything. We're really open with them, and they're really open with us. You know, it's just like one big family over there. It's nice to have them there because you know, they're great guys. They're definitely team players, and you know, they're okay with coming over and sharing information. If their car loses and we're still in, their crew guys will be jumping in on our car, helping us, and vice versa. So you know, we're definitely all pretty close over there, and you know, I get to learn stuff from Drew throughout the weekend, and vice versa. So it makes it really good, and it's a pretty cool deal that we have going over there.
Well, Tanner Gray, congratulations on your win at Sonoma. Good luck this weekend coming up at Seattle.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man.
Tanner Gray joining us on the Straight Line. When we return, we will talk to the 16th different winner in fuel, top fuel and fuel funny car. JR Todd joins us next.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you need help with moving your equipment? Industry-leading companies do, and they trust Housby Transport to move their internal equipment promptly and professionally. At Housby Transport, we pride ourselves on efficiency, timeliness, and saving our customers money with our team of logistics managers always ready to assist you in any way possible. Any size, any type, anywhere. Housby Transport is ready to move. For more information and to obtain a quote, visit Housby.com. Housby, an official sponsor of NASCAR for over 40 years.
So what are your favorite drivers really thinking? We'll tell you each weekday on NASCAR Today, midday.
Getting married has been incredible. I wish I had figured all this out sooner.
Get the latest news from the sport and the opinions of NASCAR's biggest stars.
Changing over to Ford will open up some opportunities and possibilities and some just pure potential for the team.
That's NASCAR Today, midday. Weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
It's the Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, once again, here's Doug and Marty.
Big thanks to Tanner Gray for joining us on the Straight Line. And on the guest line with us right now is the driver of Scott Coletta's DHL Toyota Funny Car, winner at Sonoma, and lots of history being made, and we'll talk about all of that with JR Todd. JR, thanks for being with us. We appreciate your time, and congratulations on the win.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, that was a pretty special day there on a Sunday in Sonoma. That's by far my favorite track on tour now.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, last year going in there and winning top field, going back this year and getting another win for Coletta Motorsports in the funny car. Man, you got to be proud.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I've been saying all year. It's an honor to be driving Scott's car, and you know, I'm not trying to live up to the accomplishment Scott had, or even you know, Dell drive that thing. Just didn't want to let those guys down because they're a championship winning team, and you know, they've won a lot of races. They know how to win. I didn't want to be the weak link on why we weren't doing well. So it was nice to finally get that DHL Toyota Camry running well and put it there in the winner's circle Sunday.
As we mentioned, heading into the commercial break, 16th different winner in Top Fuel and Fuel Funny Car. And that's a heck of an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool list to be a part of. I mean, there's a lot of my heroes on that list that have done that, and I think Dell might have been the last guy to do it before me. So it's awesome to be able to follow him up and to put yourself in that, so to say, elite group. That's definitely one of my biggest accomplishments of my career for sure.
Hey, JR, the team that you guys had, you just mentioned, I mean, that team had the number one on the car last year with Del Worsham winning the championship back there a couple years ago. But Jimmo, Jono, now Todd Smith addition there with Connie Coletta. I mean, it's an all-star team.
Yeah, between, you know, all five of our cars, there's definitely a serious amount of brain power there with a bunch of all-stars. And it's crazy that, you know, all those guys, they were all crew members at one time at Coletta Motorsports. Now they're all back there again as crew chiefs. So it's cool to see them all working together again and having a good time. And they're more like a big family than, you know, crew members or crew chiefs or anything like that. It's a pretty special team to work for, and I don't think any of them would trade their job for any other team out there.
JR, the win kind of grabs the headlines, but all anybody wants to talk about is that semifinal against Jack Beckman. And now for those that didn't see it, I'll kind of set it up and then I'll have JR just kind of describe what happened. Semifinal, JR Todd versus Jack Beckman. JR doesn't get to the Christmas tree and blows the tires off it. Jack runs down there, and it looks like this is an easy win for Jack Beckman. From there, take it from there, JR, and exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's like you said, you hit the gas and it blew the tires off. I think it might have smoked the tires when I turned on the stage light. That's how instant it was. But yeah, I mean, you know, rule is you never give up until you see the other car across the finish line, and it blew the tires off just like that in Englishtown, the first round against Robert Hyde, and I never got back on the gas because, for one, I mean, what's going through my mind is he's driving away, and I don't want to be out there pedaling it, and, you know, maybe take a chance at tearing up some stuff, and then you got the old man yelling at you because you look like an idiot out there pedaling it when the guy's driving away. So Jono, he came on the radio after that. I was like, hey, man, what's going on? You didn't want to pedal it? So I was like, well, shoot, I guess I should have got back on the gas. So when that happened Sunday there in Sonoma, it's like, you know what, I'm getting back on this thing, and I'm not quitting until I see him cross the finish line. And he was out there quite a ways, but then I see he's dead in the water, and I was already on the gas at that point. I just didn't think we had enough real estate to get by him in time. And, you know, we were running him down there pretty quick, and he got by him with probably 20 feet or less to get by at the finish line.
That's not bad with a 160-mile-an-hour speed differential, too. That's kind of fun. Hey, some of the guys
it was a lot of fun.
Oh, man, it really is. Some of the guys that you work with over there on that team, you've been working with for a long time, like Nicky Bonifani and Tommy Delago. Tell us a little bit about working with those guys for the length of time that you have been.
Man, it's I've wanted to work with Nicky for a long time as a driver. I mean, he was there at Bruce Litton's when I got my start in IHRA back in 2000, and I've kind of been with him ever since then. We went and worked at Bob Gilbertson's for a few years there, and Tommy D was there for a year while I was a crew member also. So it's nice to be able to come back and work with those guys again. They like to have a lot of fun, but they're extremely serious about what they do as well. And it's cool to be able to win with those guys and to be driving a funny car, kind of where we all started there at Gilbertson's. It's crazy how everything comes full circle like that. And like I said, we have a lot of fun, but we're pretty serious about what we do at the same time.
Yep, that's for sure. Tell us, JR, about TRD. And I know Andy Graves was pretty excited to be out there this last weekend from TRD, and just the help that Team Coletta gets from Toyota Racing Development. And
yeah, the DHL car is probably, you know, between that and the Lexus car, the number one, you know, TRD car out there on the tour. They give us a lot of help on trying to make our bodies better and even our chassis. And it was awesome to have Andy Graves and all the Toyota bigwigs there this past weekend. I mean, Andy texted me last night. I was at dinner here in Seattle and got a text from him. He said, I don't know about you, but I'm still pumped up after what happened Sunday. And it's cool to have guys like that supporting you and telling you know anything you need to give them a call, and they'll make it happen. So to have him at the track and to win like that, just I think it's going to make our program even better with the support that we get from TRD.
You switched from Top Fuel to Funny Car this year. Was there a date in your head, JR, that said, hey, I need to be comfortable in this car by such date? Obviously, there was going to be a little overlap there in trying to get used to that Funny Car because they're not easy to drive. But did you have kind of a relative time that you were thinking about, and when you needed to be comfortable in this car?
I never really set an exact date, but I knew it was going to take at least a couple races before I got really comfortable in the thing. I mean, testing did not go the way we had planned. I think we made like 14 or 15 runs and only got down the track maybe 3 or 4 out of those runs. So we weren't extremely confident going into Pomona. Then we ran pretty good in qualifying and won first round. It's like, hey, man, I think we can go out and win already. So I knew in the back of my mind that we were capable of winning. I just didn't want to be the reason that we weren't winning. And I still feel like there's been times throughout the season that, we've given up runs just because I didn't do a good job of getting the car down the track. And, I'm still learning things about a funny car that, you wouldn't do in a top fuel car. But as far as being comfortable, I mean, I would say way past that. It's like I've been saying, I'm ready to win. I'm not worried about me getting comfortable in the car anymore. But it definitely took the first 2 or 3 races before I was not nervous like a rookie anymore.
Right.
Well, you definitely got that out of the way now.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
So, man, what a awesome job at Sonoma. What are you looking forward to going to Seattle? A little bit similar conditions. They kind of got the magic trees up there in Seattle, and maybe a couple things. A little bit of a tricky racetrack, especially for funny cars. But what are you guys looking forward to in Seattle?
Well, I mean, these guys, they came here and they hauled ass last year. If they were to finish the race here, I think for sure they would have came out of here with a trophy. They had to finish the final there in Brainerd, and they had the car to beat all weekend here in Seattle. But this year, it's going to be hotter. I mean, track's probably going to be slick, but in the end, I mean, that's going to be the equalizer. And still, I mean, you're not going to have cars out there running mid 380s, I don't think. So that could play into our hand again if we can go out there and run like we did in Sonoma. I mean, who knows what can happen. But for me, I just want to go out there and stay consistent. And, hopefully we can go some later rounds again, just kind of secure our spot in the countdown going into Indy.
And speaking of which, you were kind of in a battle there for that 10th place spot. The win kind of jumps you up and kind of gets you out of that mess. There's a mess between about 10th and 13th or 14th or so in funny car right now. You've kind of separated yourself from that pack, so that's got to give you a good feeling as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's people telling me before Sonoma, hey, looks like you're locked in the top 10 and this and that. I'm like, no, man, I'm not comfortable at all in the position that we're at, because at that time I would say 8th through 14th, whatever it is, was pretty close to where Wilkerson and I think we did a good job there in Sonoma separating ourselves from the cars behind us. And I feel like that's what we needed to do, was win a race before Indy to just kind of give us some distance between everybody behind us, because Indy being points and a half, you don't want to go in there with less than a race lead, but with the cars behind you, because anything can happen when it's points and a half like that. So I think we're in a good spot now. As long as we can maintain going rounds these next 2 races, we should be looking good going into Indy.
Well, JR, congratulations on the great win for that DHL Toyota at Sonoma, and good luck coming up here at Seattle.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
JR Todd, the driver of Scott Coletta's DHL Toyota funny car for Coletta Motorsports. When we return, we'll wrap up another great edition of the show.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
It's all a family sport.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Brad Keselowski will win.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
We just have to find the value package that connects a new generation of fans.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcast elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
One final lap in the Daytona 500. Joey Logano has the point. Junior crosses over.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Marty Hough and Doug Herbert.
You are watching The Straight Line on MRN.com.
Nicely done. Welcome back to the show. along with Doug and Andrew. I am Marty, and we're just kind of three guys just talking about drag racing. So introduce this.
So this is my nephew Andrew. He's down. He's been visiting me for the last week and a half or so, and got to come on the show a little bit for our teaser last week.
Yeah.
And today I got him on the show. Part of the prerequisite for that was he had to get a haircut, so his hair wasn't in his eyes. So
okay.
You know, and he's got on his suit. I mean, he came looking for a job today.
And when do you go back home?
Counting today, 5 more days.
5 more days. So what do you plan to do with your uncle for another 5 days?
Fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff. And what have you been doing with your uncle for the last couple weeks?
What was the most fun thing that we did?
Staying up late.
Mom's gonna love that one.
Mom's gonna like that. Yeah, we went on a Harley ride. We went to Linville Falls, Linville Caverns. We've been to Grandfather Mountain.
Riding in the my favorite thing was riding in the Cadillac.
Old 64 Cadillac convertible he likes riding around. And Marty, you got a picture in that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. And if you saw us on social media, maybe Doug will retweet that. Doug's got a classic 64 Cadillac that I think it covers a football field. It's that big.
Yeah.
So
it means a lot. It was actually our first brakes auction car from back in 2008.
Nice.
So, but there's a little bit of special reason for that. Andrew likes riding around in it. Everybody get kind of hims and haws. We're riding down the street and they're going, "Hey, I like your car," and Andrew's going, "Yeah, you like my car, right?"
So we're headed to Seattle. Like I talked with JR, a track with character. It's not one.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to get down, and it's supposed to be about 105 degrees there this weekend. Wow. So it's going to be really tricky.
Well, people in Seattle are not used to 105-degree weather. I can be sure of that. So that track is, it can be bumpy and tricky, which is difficult. But there's always those magic trees there in Seattle. The cars always run well because the oxygen level's high. The trees make the cars go fast. Little mini supercars.
Yep, and so it's going to be really interesting. We'll have all the news from Seattle next week on The Straight Line. So for everybody involved, including Doug and Andrew, I'm Marty. We will talk to you next week right here on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and was brought to you by Hercules Tires. Tune in again next Thursday on MRN.com. and the MRN app. The Straight Line is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.